Please welcome to the stage Greene and Tad Geschickter. Craig is a native of Greenville, South Carolina, growing up around motorsports and a lifelong love of racing. Craig currently works with Tad at Brand Activation Maximizer, that is BAM, where they help brands turn the growing world of event sponsorship into meaningful engagement and measurable sales. Tad, founder of BAM, is the team owner of JTG-Daugherty Racing and the winning car owner of the 2023 Daytona 500. He is a trailblazer in the art of connecting marketing with NASCAR teams and ecosystems. And officially, he is now joining Worldwide Technology Raceway to bring sponsor engagement to a whole new level. Craig and Tad will discuss the unique value proposition and sponsorship opportunities on the team side. Tad brings an unparalleled business model that is vertically integrated within the sport. Craig, it's all yours. Thank you.
First of all, let me just point out, Tad's playing a little hurt today. He's had a little illness, and so we're going to get him through this. I'm a physician by training, and I just want to make it very clear, it's in our statement of work, that if something happens, I'm not doing mouth-to-mouth. I'll do compression.
Fair enough.
All right. We want to thank Curtis and just for the opportunity to be a part of this conference this morning. It's just an honor and a privilege to be here with our NASCAR friends, with the Stewart family, with Toyota. These are all our partners and people that we love to deal with. And so thank you very much, Curtis. We've also fallen in love with St. Louis. Every time we come here, it feels comfortable. This town is great. It's welcoming. And I had a little Italian food last night that was great. So thanks, Pete, for that. To get started, you know, I'm a pediatric cardiologist by training, and I grew up with NASCAR. And I have a passion for NASCAR since I was a child. My dad was involved with it, and when I moved to Charlotte in 1992 to take a position, I ended up taking care of some NASCAR people, and they started inviting me to races because they thought it was very interesting that this young pediatric cardiologist knew the history and had a passion for NASCAR. And so I started, they asked me to go to races with them. I even rode in the pace car with Buster Alton and had some good times back in the 90s. And in the mid-90s, I was introduced to Coach Joe Gibbs, and Joe and I became extremely close. And he had an issue with his oldest son who had developed a degenerative brain issue. And one day, Joe called me in his office and asked me if I would help him run the race team. At first, I thought it was ludicrous, and I was like, well, what do I have to offer? But he talked me into it because he's probably the best salesman I've ever met. So I left medicine and became executive vice president at Joe Gibbs Racing. And that's where I met Tad, and Tad and I formed a very close friendship through meetings at the Race Team Alliance. And it was obvious from the very beginning that everybody was doing sponsorship marketing a certain way. We sold paint on the car, as we call it, which was traditional branding. We had VIP experiences that we offered. We even dealt into pure B2B. Example was FedEx, where we would get other of our sponsor partners to switch their shipping to FedEx. That was attributed to be worth about $350 million a year of new business to FedEx. We also started a social digital media department, which I think, and Pete may agree with this, is probably the best in NASCAR. And we were starting to find other ways to provide value for our sponsor partners. And then I met Tad, and I realized that all that's great, but Tad had this unique marketing approach to sponsorship. No one else in the garage had it. And I would be walking down pit road with Coach before a race, and I don't know whether you've been to a race, but there's these huge pit boxes that we work off of during the race. And they also serve as branding platforms. So we'd walk down through there, next thing I know, Joe's elbowing me and pointing to Tad's box and say, look what Tad's doing. He's got Kroger, he's got all these iconic brands, and it just stands out. And we did not have that type of program to offer our sponsors at Joe Gibbs Racing. And so about 3 years ago, I suggested to Joe that maybe Tad could help us develop one of these programs or some of these programs at JGR. And Tad agreed, and he came over. So I had the privilege of working closely with Tad for the past 3 years. And my respect for what he's doing and how he does it, how he conducts his business, how he's so conscious of providing value to partners grew. And also we became very close friends. And so the history is when I stepped down from JGR last fall, I was going to go back into medicine, take care of the babies. And Tad approached me and said, hey, come and help me over at my agency. And so that's what we're doing now. And that gave me the opportunity to meet Curtis and to be involved in this endeavor that Curtis is establishing here in St. Louis. And I have to tell you, I'm so proud to be a part of this endeavor to make this probably, we want this to be the best event of all the races in NASCAR, and there's 38 of them. And it's going to take this whole group in here. It's going to take a lot of hard work, but I am very bullish on NASCAR. I love the sport. I have a passion, and I think this can be the best event in all of NASCAR. So that's kind of our history, how a pediatric cardiologist hooked up with a marketing major and how we're trying to go forward and change some aspects of marketing in NASCAR. So off the bat, to start with, Tad, you formed this agency, Brand Activation Maximizer. Can you give us a little history about it and then go into why you formed it?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Hopefully you have some information here that piques your interest. My wife and I founded Brand Activation Maximizer 30 years ago when we decided we were going into racing. It's really formed just so we could take care of the sponsors on our race team. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're probably the only bootstrap company in the top level of NASCAR. So literally, pretty much you have a lot of very wealthy people who are using this as their golf game and what they enjoy doing. This is our business. So we had to find a little different way of doing things. Right away, we did not have the driver that was winning the race and doing backflips off the door. We had to provide value in other ways. So that was kind of necessity is the mother of invention. So Jody and I founded it, and really it's founded on our desire to serve. I know so many people in here, you know, Mr. Stewart talks about it in his books. Everyone who's involved in the racetrack and Curtis's heart to serve the local community, help revitalize East St. Louis through the racetrack. I know everyone understands that. So we found we're happiest when we're serving others. Our first jobs out of college were Procter & Gamble. I sold soap for a living. She thought she was marrying a soap salesman, and she was a flight attendant for US Air, very service-oriented. So there you have a soap salesman and a flight attendant who were able to start a professional sports franchise. What a great sport we've built here in NASCAR. It's pretty phenomenal. But during my time in P&G, we were probably the first consumer packaged goods company back there in the 80s to sponsor a race team. Back then it was all about motor oil, cigarettes, alcohol, beer. That's kind of who the sponsors were in NASCAR. The Tide brand looked at it and said, there sure are a lot of females in the audience here. They're very passionate. And we sell detergent to shopper mom inside the house. So they kind of dumped it in my lap. I was running the Southeastern soap for them at the time. And they said, figure out how to sell some boxes. We're going to do this advertising platform. That's really how it got started. We sat down with retailers across the country, explained to them what was getting ready to happen in the local market. 110 million coming in the local economy. Very passionate, a common interest. Very interested in tailgating, camping out all weekend, huge market baskets. What a great opportunity for a retailer. How can we help you with our Tide brand, create a promotion that draws all those people into your stores? By the way, we can have another Thanksgiving or Christmas type of sales that week. So that's really how we got started. Our mantra is races for cases. We're going to sell enough cases for you if you sponsor our team to justify your investment on it. Very different kind of model. So that was kind of fun getting started. Funny thing happened, as I was working for Procter & Gamble, I got a chance to work with some of the biggest and most successful race teams in NASCAR back there in the 80s, the Hendricks, people like that. And they kept talking to me about the cost of racing. You know, we got a new motor program coming out. We need another $500,000. We need to give our driver a raise. We need another $250,000. Very transactional. It really felt bad to me. No one was talking to me about how they could add value for me for the money I was investing. And that's what really gave us the courage to step away from corporate America and start our own company, because no one in the garage was talking about the value equation. And, you know, at Procter, we used to say value is performance over price, right? Anybody here buy laundry detergent? Right? Tide costs about $15 for 50 wash loads. Arm & Hammer costs about $5 for 50 wash loads. If you don't care about smelling a little bit and having dirty clothes, Arm & Hammer is pretty good value. No offense to Arm & Hammer. They might be one of my sponsors next year, so I can't say any more on that. But you know, people expect for that premium price that it is a value if it's going to clean all the grass stains out of the little clothes and clean your clothes better. Same thing, think about what Yeti Coolers has done versus the styrofoam cooler you can buy for $3. If you're just going picnicking for the afternoon, that's a great value for the $3. But if you want to keep your food cold for a year and a half or whatever Yeti does, right? Very much worth it. So really, that's the value equation we really set out to solve. And it's been a great journey doing it, and we've really enjoyed it. Funny thing happened. I kept telling people we're going to sell enough cases to help you justify your investment with us. Well, as the cost of racing kept going up, my first year in racing, my entire budget was $800,000. Now it costs about $20 million to run a cup team. So it's really hard to sell enough charcoal to justify that kind of investment. That's really where vertical integration came across. How can we make a value for everybody on the car, create better promotional efficacy at a price that everyone could get a positive return on investment? So that's really where we look for non-competing complementary brands that could promote together to share promotional costs, increase reach, and increase the return on investment. Does that make sense? A couple pictures there. I'll give you a few examples just to help bring it to life. Our very first one, everyone's tailgating at the racetrack. Let's go talk to Kingsford Charcoal. They're in Oakland, California, never been to a NASCAR race, didn't care to talk about it. But they really cared about the number of people who are grilling out at the racetrack every weekend. As the cost kept going up, we created the Meals on Wheels, the grilling solutions car. So think about all the things you buy when you buy charcoal. You buy meat, you buy paper products, you buy beer, you buy soda, you buy salad dressing, you buy barbecue sauce. All those people can share in the cost of this program at a rate that provides a comfortable return for them and promote together to make it even better. Did the same thing with cleaning. We had Clorox bleach, we had Whisk detergent, we had Snuggle fabric softener, we had household cleaning products. Worked great. Everyone in that program over an 18-year partnership with us received $1.76 return for every dollar they invested in incremental case sales. So everybody, that sound pretty good to everybody? That's pretty much how it worked. Then we got into a little bit more business to business. After 15 years of bringing these promotions to Kroger, the largest grocery retailer in America, they came to us in 2015 and said, we've decided NASCAR is the place we want to promote as we get into acculturating people about our changing delivery services. So click and collect at the curbside, ship to home, we're getting into that. We want people to understand that. Can you help us? Well, you talk about Christmas. I can still remember where I was standing in that executive's kitchen one night when he said, I want to sponsor your race car. As a consumer packaged goods person whose vision was, I want to be the home for all consumer packaged goods, boy, that was the greatest conversation of all time. What a blessing. So pretty easy conversation. Would you rather sponsor a race car, or would you rather build a partnership with the largest grocery retailer in America if you're Cottonelle? $1.96 return for every dollar invested over the 10-year course of the program is still going strong. So that's a little business to business. Here's another one. Our little platform that we just came up from, by necessity, is now being accepted by the big pharma world. So think about every other commercial you see on TV is a big pharma brand advertising their drug. Kroger's offering enhanced services in the pharmacy, biometric screening, nutritionists, vaccinations. How do we teach people about that? Now we have AstraZeneca, Pfizer, GSK, Sanofi, to name a few, who have bought into our platform and are using this very effectively to promote and grow. Metric there is over the 2 years, vaccination rates for those participating are up 58% versus before they were in the program. So it's a long way of saying Your relationship with Worldwide Technology Raceway can be more than what it is on the weekends when the track's busy. It can be more than your investment in the local St. Louis area. Curtis has engaged us as a company to come alongside him and offer this as another value-added service in addition to what you've already heard today. For everyone that partners with Worldwide Technology Raceway, can we help you make your investment work harder, drive sales not only in the St. Louis area but globally, and make your investment work 24/7, 365 days a year. That's what we're here to do. We're excited to work with everyone. Hopefully I gave you enough information that piqued your interest, and look forward to working with Declan and talking to everyone who has an interest in partnering with the track.